Good morning, Professor Abdul Manan, sir, Honorable former Chairman UGC Republic of Bangladesh and today's esteemed keynote speaker, Shri Mahbubul Haq, sir, Honorable Chancellor, University of Science and Technology, Meghalaya, participants of the program, ladies and gentlemen. On behalf of University of Science and Technology, Meghalaya, we would like to welcome all to the 9th lecture of the USTM webinar lecture series, organized to discuss the various aspects, issues, challenges in higher education during this testing time, especially new challenges in higher education, implications for quality assurance. Before we begin, I would like to request all the participants to kindly mute their microphones for during the sessions. Participants can post their queries in the chat box and question answer box. Selected queries will be taken up for discussion, taking into account the time factor. We would also request all the participants to kindly fill up the feedback form. The link of the feedback form will be shared at the end of this session. E-certificate will be issued to the participants who have submitted the feedback form. Ladies and gentlemen, our esteemed speaker today, as we all know, Professor Abdul Manan, sir. I have already said Honorable former Chairman UGC Bangladesh. He has completed his graduation and postgraduate studies from the University of Hawaii and Miami University, USA under the East-West Center US Government Fellowship. Throughout his academic career, Professor Manan has passed all his examination with extraordinary distinction, always occupying the top position in his class. He had joined the business school of University of Chittagong as a lecturer and later was appointed as the Vice Chancellor of University of Chittagong. Professor Manan, sir, was appointed the 12th Chairman of University Grand Commission of Republic of Bangladesh by the President of the Republic of Bangladesh and the Chancellor of Universities of Bangladesh. Sir, we are really honored, and we would also like to say that, Professor Manan sir has been mentoring us. USTM has been a guide to us. He is the Professor Emeritus of USTM and also, a personal advisor to our own Chancellor, sir. We are indeed honored to have such a distinguished personality with us today. I would like to request Shri Mahbubul Haq, sir, Honorable Chancellor, USTM, to kindly say a few words on the occasion, sir.
Good morning to everyone, and especially my assalamu alaikum to Professor, our speaker today, one of the mentor of University of Science and Technology, Meghalaya, and spirit behind, Professor Abdul Manan sir, a great scholar of Bangladesh. And he was not only it will not be sufficient to introduce him as a former chairman of UGC Bangladesh. He is a great scholar and a personality of international repute. And I was listening to him that even today morning, he has already delivered a session. So, Shagotam Janai sir, Amar Desh Teke, Bharat Barsho Teke, and especially on behalf of the state of Meghalaya and Northeast and from University of Science and Technology, Meghalaya, I welcome you to this particular session. Already Mehjabin has explained. I welcome all the participants from all over the globe and especially from our country, from our Northeastern region, who have been participating from last so many lecture sessions. And it's very interesting that the first session was delivered by our UGC chairman of India, Professor Ved Prakash sir. And today, our neighboring country, the friend country, Bangladesh, UGC chairman, Professor Manan sir will be delivering this session. I congratulate all the participants that you are too much lucky that you are listening such kind of eminent personalities from the day beginning. And people from all across, even the speakers, they are saying that how University of Science and Technology, Meghalaya have got such kind of eminent personalities in one platform. And it is very interesting, and I must share with all the participants, and especially to convey Professor Manan sir, that one of the speaker, the former Vice Chancellor of University of Mumbai, Professor Deshmukh, he expressed his interest to compile all the lectures. He is asking that you give the video lectures because we are recording it, and he will translate and he will publish a copy after completion of all deliberations. It will be continued till the end of August. More speakers are joining day by day. and it will be continued. I welcome Professor Manan sir. Sir, you are not the only, I was telling that you are not the Vice Chancellor, this UGC Chairman of Bangladesh. You are mentor for many institutions, I know. You are guiding many institutions across the world, and especially in Bangladesh, everyone have a high regards on your contribution, your long time association in the UGC Bangladesh. And we also feel proud that under your mentorship and guideship, we are also very much associated with the various universities of Bangladesh. We have signed an MOU with the University Grant Commission of Bangladesh for various collaborative works. And we are very much hopeful. The first time in the history, then Indian Northeastern region, all the Vice Chancellors and the NIT directors, and the Vice Chancellors of various universities of Bangladesh, we met in the Shahjalal University of Science and Technology under your visionary leadership, and everyone has this is the first international convention of ICT. So I welcome you. This is your time. This is your amanat that you have to spend and you have to deliver the lecture. Everyone is waiting to listen you. So wish all the best. And this is a very relevant topic. I think our participants will be very much beneficial. And being a chancellor of the university, being the founder of the university, I request all the participants that after this pandemic, COVID-19, you are all invited to visit physically University of Science and Technology, Meghalaya, and we'll be considering being a participant of all the lecture sessions. We'll be considering that you are also the part of USTM extended family. I welcome all of you. Wish us all the best and see you soon. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. We would now like to hand over this session to Professor Abdul Manan, sir. Sir, the session is yours.
Okay, thank you, Majabin. First, Honorable Chancellor, Mr. Mahbul Haq, a very good friend of mine, and also a very good leader in the world of education in Northeast and part of India. I had the good fortune of visiting the USTM, University of Science and Technology, Meghalaya, on at least 2 or 3 occasions. And Mr. Mahbul Haq was very generous, and his colleagues were very generous to host me in a lecture called APJ Abdul Kalam Third Memorial Lecture. And also they honored me with a special convocation with the honorary delete. And later on, they were very generous in giving me the status of a Professor Emeritus. So Mr. Mahbul Haq, Assalamu alaikum, good morning. And good morning to all the participants. I was told that there are about 1,000 participants who have registered. I don't know the exact number, but the mail that I get from Majabin on a regular basis,
Yes, sir. Yes.
She said about 1,000
Yes.
participants.
Sir, today they are also live on Facebook also. They are
Okay.
live on Facebook also.
Okay. So
Yes,
that is a big number. That is a huge number. And I'm grateful to USTM. I'm grateful to Mr. Mahbul Haq, and also thanks to Majabin for facilitating this wonderful series section. I think there is another similar lecture coming on later this month. Mr. Baharul Haq, I think he organized a seminar, and
Yes.
so I'm supposed to also take part in that seminar. I'm looking forward to it. So first of all, the topic is something, it is not relevant only to India. It is relevant to us, or relevant to all countries and under the current situation. The topic is the new challenges in higher education, implication for quality assurance, Now, what is this new challenge, and why do we have to talk about this new challenge? One of the reason is, or the reason is, suddenly the whole world has been taken by storm, just by disease or a virus, which we all know as COVID-19 or Corona. It started in China, last February. Officially, we know it was last February, but there are many differences of opinion when it started. Some say it started much earlier. The Chinese government revealed it in February. Whenever it started, it spread. This is the third pandemic in known history. First was the plague. And second was that was in 17th century. Then there was another pandemic in the earlier 20th century, which was known as the Spanish flu, and now we have this pandemic which we call COVID-19. The difference between the earlier pandemic and this pandemic is that the earlier pandemics were not global. They were confined to European continent or to Europe, and the Spanish flu just crossed the Atlantic and hit a little bit of United States, eastern part of United States. So today, this pandemic has become global. This is one of the fallout or negative fallout of the globalization. We say the globalization. Many people wonder why the earlier plagues or earlier pandemics did not go outside Europe or America. The reason we all know is that in those days there was no such thing as a globalization. People were not traveling much. Today, people travel every other day. People travel every hour. People travel every minute. So the first, if the Chinese did not travel outside China, this is a hypothetical scenario. If the people did not travel outside China, then we perhaps would not have had this pandemic. So, but unfortunately or fortunately, whatever we wanted to say, knowingly or unknowingly, the people from China, after the pandemic hit that country, they travel outside China to other countries, to travel to Europe, and they travel to Italy, to travel to Germany. So a pandemic which was supposed to be within the domain of China suddenly became global. From China, it went to Italy, it went to Germany. From there, it spread all over Europe. It came to Iran, it came to Saudi Arabia, it crossed Atlantic, went to United States. Roughly today, we have approximately 215 or 216 countries that has been hit with this pandemic. And more than 100,000 people lost their life. And in every country, now currently countries like Brazil, United States, India are struggling because they have India has a huge population, roughly 1.3 billion, I suppose. United States also have. And so there are many different reasons why countries are struggling, countries are suffering. But again, on the other side of the story, some countries have managed to handle this COVID-19 much in a better way. Countries like Vietnam, countries like South Korea. Initially, South Korea had bad situation, but slowly it managed to put a halt on the spread. So today, some countries are recovering. Some countries have recovered well, but some countries recovered, and again at the same time, it came back. It came in like one country is Australia. Australia had at one point of time a zero attack or a zero case of this COVID patient. But again, today, Canberra has been locked down. Canberra has been locked down. The capital city has been locked down because it has again come back. It has again come back in Canberra. So there is no way of saying that we don't have the COVID-19 And again, we may not have the COVID-19. Again, we may not have the COVID-19. So now many things have changed in our life. Many things have changed in our life. One of our lifestyle has changed. Our doing, the business, the style of doing business has changed. Our communication has changed. Style of communication has changed. But as an educator, as a person in the world of education, our world is different in what do you call than many other things. We are talking about education, we are talking about learning, we are talking about teaching. That has changed in all countries, So now education means you need to have students, you need to have faculty members, you need to staff, you need to have other support services. But unfortunately, now suddenly we see a new reality. That is what you call the new normal, The things we did not earlier do, earlier think of doing it, suddenly we have to now live with it. We have to now be with it. So now when we say challenges of in higher education, I would not confine my focus on higher education. I would like to confine my focus on education itself. If you do not what do you call what happened? Can you hear me?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay. Can you see me? Okay.
Yes,
Suddenly the screen went blank.
No, no, sir. We can see you.
So what do you call, Najibin? Thank you. Again, you are gone out of the screen.
No, sir. Just let's stop my video.
Okay.
Just listening to you, sir.
Okay.
Listening to you.
Okay. So I'm talking about education as such. Education as such. So when I say education, I want to start about it from the primary to secondary, to higher secondary, to university. So it is not something just we have to talk about only in the universities. So if you are not taking care of the lower part of the education ladder, how can you fix the higher education, the world? So let me talk about what happened to my country, what is happening to my country. So the new challenges, suddenly Bangladesh has been focusing. We have a slogan called Digital Bangladesh. In last 10 years, Bangladesh has progressed extraordinarily in digitizing many of its services, but still there is a digital divide. Still there is a substantial digital divide. So we have coined, and the government has coined a nice slogan called the digital divide. And what do you call it? Our Honorable Prime Minister, her son, Sajib Wajed Joy, he is a person who is in the world of whose business is practically working with the digital world. So he is the advisor in IT technology to the Honorable Prime Minister. So he's the one who first brought in artificial intelligence in this country, the concept of artificial intelligence in this country. So he's the one who first brought in that many of the services that we get, from face-to-face situation, you can get it virtually. So many services today in Bangladesh are provided through using IT technology. One service, let me give you an example. I have my driver, he starting in March, he was suffering from fever. So actually he was not, I was not sure whether he was suffering from COVID-19 or not. So I sent him away to his home, which is in another district. So he went, I said, you go away. I will I will not use the card. So he left for his home. So then now when the Eid came, I have to give him the monthly salaries. I had to give him the bonus. I had to give him the salary during the Eid. So we have a mobile banking service in Bangladesh, which is very, very vibrant. So I sent the money to him through this mobile banking service. After the Ramzan, the Muslims have to pay the zakat. Now, how do you pay zakat? So we again went back to our mobile banking service. Everybody has gone back to mobile banking service. Then the zakat was paid. Now the coming Eid, the Eid al-Adha, now you have to buy sacrificial animals. Now government has said no cattle market within the city limits. So again, many companies have started their business and saying that we will sell sacrificial animals through digital technology. You can online. So digital technology is something that we need to be careful in using it. So there are many such uses of digital technology. Now coming back to the education, what happened was now initially people were not or the teaching community, the learning community, we were not ready for a long lockdown. We thought things will become okay within 2 weeks or maybe 3 weeks, but it started to stagger, and now that became a big issue. Now school kids could not come to school. Government says till now officially all education institutions are closed till August 6th. Now again, they did not say all education institutions open after August 6th. Now from kindergarten schools to universities, everything was closed initially, apprehending that in about 2 weeks' time things will become normal, but there was no sign of getting normal. So something had to be done. So initially, the government first came out and said, we have 2 TV channels, government TV channels. One is actually 3 government TV channels. There is Bangladesh television. One is for domestic, viewing. The other one is for international viewing, and the other one is usually on when you have parliament sessions. That is called Parliament TV. So this government said, we will start delivering lectures. Our teachers will start delivering lectures at the college levels, at the intermediate level, using these government TV channels. So that was provided. Now, many kindergarten schools in the private sector for small kids, they started online teaching to keep their kids busy. So that was when they started. Then public universities and private universities, they had to think something of alternative. Now, private universities are not all private universities. We have approximately, I think, 105 or 106 private universities. Out of those, roughly 50% or less than 50% do have platforms, online platforms, IT platforms, which can be used for online learning. So they applied. The government initially did not agree, or the UGC, after I left, it was taken, Dr. Shahidullah became the chairman. They could not agree whether to allow the private universities to start online teaching and learning. But the Private University Owners Association managed to convince the government, the education minister, the prime minister, that you have to allow them, because if you don't allow the private universities and the students are not registering, they are not getting, they will not pay their fees, and if the fees are not paid, then the teachers, the faculty members will not get paid. Again, the staff also will not get paid. That was not a problem for the government universities. Still, it is not a problem. Whether classes are held or classes are not held, they get their pays, they get their benefits, they get their bonuses, they get everything. But we said, private universities said, we have to either allow us online teaching or provide us, or we have to close down our universities. So government said, okay, go ahead. So we started, we said the classes will be on. We started in late April. Then there was some amount of holiday. But this is confined to about 30 universities for Eid and other things. Then again, we started from 1st of July. The new semester started. So these universities were earlier, they started in a small way online teaching. Now it's in full swing. Now the big problem is there is a big digital divide in this community. Especially the students are much more equipped. They have the skill to handle the digital technology than people like me of my age. I'm comfortable with it, but everybody is not that comfortable. So that was a big problem. The first challenge was for senior faculty members who are not used to the digital technology in that way, so that they can deliver their lecture or take their exams, because taking exams online also needs a different type of skill. You need to set questions which are highly innovative, which needs creativity, so that students don't just resort to books and write their answers. So that was another skill you needed to develop. So what universities did, at least the university I teach in currently 2 days a week, other universities, they arranged for what we call training sessions for faculty members. They had at least 6 or 7 different types of training sessions. They made videos. They made written texts, how to start a Google Meet, how to start a Google Class, how to start a Zoom. And UGC came forward to help, because when I was at the University Grants Commission, we managed to set up a Bangladesh Research and Education Network. It was a big project, and we completed the project in 2018. We connected all the universities, public universities and some private universities in the country. And we connected with Indian REN, Indian Research and Education Network. So just in, I think, April, our Prime Minister and India's Prime Minister, Mr. Narendra Modi, both, I was present in our Prime Minister's office when both jointly inaugurated number of projects in Bangladesh, and it was joint collaboration. And one was this project, BTREN, Indian REN collaboration. So BTREN started a platform for private universities when they said we can help the universities, not private, also public. So now the faculty members have gone through some extent, some teaching, and students were much better equipped, I would say, than I am, because they were born in a digital generation. They in a digital world. They lived in a digital world. They practice. So everybody has a mobile phone, smart mobile phone. So it doesn't matter. Last evening, I had a class. So I found 2 of my students while returning from office, sitting in the car, attending the class. Now, that is the good side of the story. The other not so good side of the story is Bangladesh is a country which has a population of 170 million, population of 170 million. Now, there are remote places where you do not have though in Bangladesh, 90% of the houses are do have electricity connections, but in all areas, electricity distribution is not a constant. It is sometimes it gets interrupted. Everywhere you don't have IT, what you call internet connections. Wherever you have internet connections, in some places, it is not very smooth. It is always going up and down. So they do have problem. But again, I found two of my students returning from office, attending classes, sitting in their car. So now private universities are doing whatever they can. They have learned from the last semester, and this semester, they have improved a lot of bit. Now, coming to the public universities, now in private and public, the number of students, the total number of students in the education sector or education family, we say, is approximately 55 or near about 60 million from primary to university. And in university level, the higher tertiary level, our total number of students are approximately 44 million. 44 million. That's a huge number. So now public universities have the bigger portion of these 44 million or 45 million. So they have now agreed. They have agreed that they will also start online teaching, online learning. So some universities have already started. Some universities are preparing themselves to start from after the coming Eid. So that is a challenge for everybody. There is a challenge for the faculty members. There is a challenge for the There is a challenge for the faculty members. There is a challenge for the students. The students, I would say, at least in our country, are in a better position because they are much equipped with technology, IT technology. So that is one of the big challenge we are having. And hopefully, as you go along, we may not be 100% successful in meeting these challenges, but I would say we would be doing better as we go along. And the other thing is quality assurance. Now, that is something we have to wait and see how can we assure quality, especially in technical education, in engineering, in agriculture. There is a still gray area. How do students do the lab jobs? Because you cannot become a mechanical engineer unless you are in a lab. You cannot do a lot of researches, a lot of works in agriculture universities if you don't go to the field. So that is something we need to as yet think about. How do you solve this? How do you plug these holes, plug these gaps? So though there are some amount of relief with in some universities, because again UGC has helped them in setting up fabrication labs, but that is not something which is widely practiced or widely used in our country. We have only 3 or 4 universities which have fab labs that can these labs can be used online by engineering students. But again, there will still be gaps. So quality assurance challenge needs to be again closely looked into, especially for students studying medicine, students studying in technical universities, students studying in agriculture, or veterinary education, or things like that. So that is why I'm still a little bit apprehensive about ensuring the quality, full quality in some of the areas. It may not be a big problem for me when I'm talking about teaching economics or business or social science or liberal arts. But when you talk teaching lab-based courses, that can be a little bit of a problem. There are some suggestions that students may be allowed in the labs, in some areas, not in everywhere, in some areas, in numbering few at a time. Let us say you have a class size of 30, so we can allow 5 students to come one day, 5 students another day. So that is still a proposition, not as yet practiced. So having said this, we I think during this time, we did have a lot of good things, like we are having this meeting, we're having this conference. We had a lot of conclaves, we had a lot of panel discussions, and a lot of new things have been learned. A lot of interchange of knowledge has happened across the national frontiers or within the national frontiers, and many people who never thought of using the IT technology for teaching or learning, now they are also learning, teaching, learning using the IT technology. Like I have at least 2 standby devices: my mobile phone and smartphone, and my iPad, because suddenly this internet snaps. It does sometimes for a brief 2-3 minutes. I can switch to mobile phone, because in mobile phone I have a different SIM which provides you with internet service by the service provider. So now that is something I have learned during this time. Earlier, I did not have to do this. I usually sometimes talk with foreign radios like BBC, like Voice America. So in those times, usually the sessions are 10 minutes. 10 minutes. So far, I have not faced any problem. So I have talked with BBC during this COVID-19, at least 2 occasions. I did not have any problem. So we are learning. Everybody is learning, and I was very happy. Very when our chancellor, Mr. Mabul Haq, initially told me that they have started their digital class, online class, immediately after that thing happened. So every country now, USA, Europe, England, Cambridge has announced that till 2023, it will have online class. Till 2023, it will have online class. American universities have said that they will also have online class. Australian universities gave faculty members 2 weeks time to learn how to take online class. So, and the universities provided the training to the teachers. So now, as this pandemic was sudden, the problem became a reality suddenly, and no one was really prepared to handle this situation. But so far, I will not say we have managed to do it 100% correct, 100% right, 100% up to the expectation of everybody. But we have managed to integrate the technology into our education system, which earlier we did not have, which earlier we did not even need to. Some people say we did not need to integrate this technology. Now, another thing is many students in our country cannot afford to buy so much of internet time. So that is a problem for many, many students, thousands of students. The government is now trying to, has proposed or is trying to come up with a solution, providing free internet service to students, or subsidized internet service to students. And so government has been very proactive, not only in education, but also in other sectors that our Prime Minister has managed to, do all her weekly cabinet meetings, sitting in her official residence and not travel anywhere. uh, our parliament session, the budget parliament session, was also something happened virtually online, though there was one or two sessions inside the parliament, but with 1/4 of this of the because you need to have a quorum, so to sign the book. I think they allowed 1/4 of the parliament members to come in and sit in there, but that was for a brief time. So life continues. Initially, things that seemed very difficult today, many of those things have become normal. Many of these things have become normal, but still, the world has a big digital divide. Bangladesh has a big digital divide. India has a big digital divide. So we who are fortunate to live on this side of the digital divide, we are in a good position. But people who are on the other side of the digital divide, they are still, not very comfortable, not very comfortable. So even in America, similar things are happening. Even in Australia, similar things have happened. Even in Europe, similar things have happened. But okay, we did have a problem. We will need to have a solution, and that solution would have to come from us. That solution have to come from the people who works in the world of, digital technology. So having said that, I would like to stop here and get back to our moderator and see if some people have some questions that you may need to ask, clarify. I try to do my best. And also, if somebody else wants to be in, that's fine. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, sir. Actually, this was a very effective session because, a lot of our doubts, we were having a lot of our doubts have been cleared, and also how we have also, got a way out of how to control, the situation as best as we can. So, sir, this is we are really thankful for that. Sir, some students, some participants, though you have said in your, deliberation, but still some participants have regularly, that asked, whether, online teaching can ever replace face-to-face classes.
Okay. If this is my personal opinion, online teaching, but my personal, I think, is not a substitute for face-to-face teaching. Okay, is in every country they have some sort of an online teaching, like we have in our country called Bangladesh Open University, like Indian Indira Gandhi Open University. Okay, those are online teaching. Again, they have a weekly, on weekends, face-to-face teaching. So online teaching is, from my point of view, because human beings are social animals. We say social animals. We have a society. We cannot just detach from society and do everything online. We need to have, because currently we have started a new semester. I don't know people personally. I see them on computer when they're attending class. So I don't think online teaching will be a substitute for face-to-face teaching or classroom teaching. Classroom teaching in some form or the other will have to be there, maybe a small section, but online teaching right now is what we call, we said new normal, but this new normal is not something I would say, I would think that it will be permanent. Some point of time, we'll get back to the good old days where we go to the class, see the students, talk to them, they see me. So I think for a while, whenever you have an emergency, you need to have emergency measures. You cannot just sit idle. You cannot just sit idle. Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. So one more question. This is which we all are also I also wanted to ask actually, sir, because now we have the adolescents, the young adults sitting at home, with their parents. So they're confined to their rooms. So in this sense, sir, overall development of their personality, and also emotional stability.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
because, a college or university gives them that emotional support with peers and faculty members, and also extracurricular and many activities to develop their personality also. So how do these students overcome this situation?
Yeah, at this point of time, online teaching is not a good way of overcoming this situation. So my prescription would be to the students, to the learners, people who are staying at home. Don't sit idle, do nothing. Do something. Do read books. Do read the storybooks. This generation, they don't read storybooks. My generation, we were more or less addicted to reading storybooks. So I would just tell them, read storybooks, watch movies, keep yourself busy, because if you
Start cooking.
start cooking, start helping your
New
mother.
hobby.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like in my home, there we don't allow, our building doesn't allow any outside maids to come in. So we have to wash our clothes, we have to mop our floors. So I do that. My daughter, who is a university teacher, she does that. Her husband does that. So we are all, in every home, it's a similar situation. It is a similar situation. So if you're not doing anything, if there is no, let us say, no online teaching, no online learning, you're not doing anything, then that can become, a problem for your mental health. So we don't want our generation to get into some situation where they'll mentally slowly get retarded, because you need to be a man of the world, not just confined to a room.
Yes, sir. Because here, our faculty members and they have a big role to play, because since they are taking the online classes, they are in touch with the students.
Yes.
So at least they can motivate them.
They
Yes,
can.
sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Sir, we are coming to the end of the session, because timing is also, because you also have another
Class.
So I would like to request Dr. Rashmi Rekha Borua, our senior faculty member from University of Science and Technology, Meghalaya, to kindly present the vote of thanks. Dr. Rashmi Rekha Borua.
Thank you, Manjabin. A very good afternoon to respected Professor Abdul Manan sir, former chairman, UGC Bangladesh, Mr. Mohbubul Haq sir, Honorable Chancellor, University of Science and Technology, Meghalaya, panelists, participants of today's webinar, ladies and gentlemen. In the beginning, I would like to express my profound gratitude to our esteemed speaker of today's webinar lecture, Professor Abdul Manan sir, for sharing his knowledge regarding today's topic. As we know, COVID-19 is no longer a short-term crisis for all the sectors, including higher education. Therefore, online teaching and learning has become a common phenomenon everywhere, including in India. But evaluating students' learning acquired through this online learning has been a challenge for quality assurance. Sir has explained very well about how government as well as private universities have coped up with this situation. Sir has also explained that how difficult it is having only online classes for few science disciplines, but he has given us some strategies to overcome these challenges. I must mention our deep sense of appreciation for your very interesting and knowledgeable lecture. Thank you, sir. I would also like to convey my heartfelt thanks to our Honorable Chancellor, Mr. Mohbubul Haq, sir, without whose support we would not have been able to organize this webinar. In fact, sir was trying to make us understand the other day that the online learning is now a key mode of education delivery rather than just an add-on to face-to-face learning. Thank you, sir. We are extremely grateful to Dr. Midul Hajarika, sir, Vice Chancellor, USTM, Professor Sohail Sabir, sir, Pro Vice Chancellor, USTM, Dr. R.K. Sharma, sir, Advisor, ERDF, Registrar, Academic Registrar, Deputy Registrar, and other ERDF high officials for giving the moral support and continuous guidance to conduct this webinar. I would also like to say thank you to all the administrative and technical staff for smooth functioning of this webinar. At last but not the least, we are very grateful to all the participants for attending this webinar. I'm very sure that all of us have learned many new things from today's topic. here I would like to add that, there is no doubt that, there are so many challenges to implement and assure online education quality in higher education sector in India. But it is sure that with the help of a coordinated approach between government, quality assurance agencies, and higher education institutions, the online education quality in India can be maintained properly. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Dr. Rashmi Rekha Barua. We are coming to the end. I would like to announce that we are having the next lecture on the 16th of this month. The lecture will be given by Professor Deepika Deka, Honorable Vice Chancellor, Srimanta Shankadev University of Health Science. The webinar will be held at 3 p.m. because of some other prior engagement of Madam. And the webinar will be held at 3 p.m. So we will see you on the 16th of July. Thank you so much, Professor Manan,
Majabin, before you close, I just, as information, we have a SARC chartered body called Association of Management Development Institutions in South Asia. Its abbreviation is MDSA. We have our headquarters in inside the University of Hyderabad campus in Hyderabad. Okay. And I am one of the founding member of that MDSA. And still, I'm very closely involved with it. And we have, I think, full-time staff of about 12 people. And we have our own building there in Hyderabad. So we have approximately, the membership is institutional, not individual. So we have across our countries, we have, the maximum number is from India. We have about 114 or 116 universities or institutes teaching management member or training management of that MDSA. So our good old executive director, Mr. Ramakrishnan, he started a very good initiative. He said he's trying to collect write-ups from vice chancellors of the member institutions, how evolving academic scenario, during this situation. I was the first one who initiated it, and now he has about 15 or 20. So when you have about roughly 40 or so, we're going to publish that book. That will be for a record that what happened in the posterity, what happened during this lockdown in the education sector. So I think that will be a wonderful publication.
Yes.
Yeah. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. And so thank you so much, sir, for enlightening us today. And we know you are always with us. Once the pandemic is over, we hope to see you in our university.
Of course. I'm eagerly waiting. Now, bye.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir. Good day, sir.
Good day. Thank you.
Assalamualaikum.
Assalamualaikum. Assalamualaikum.
ভালো থাকবেন স্যার।
আপনিও ভালো থাকবেন, দোয়া করবেন।
আইসিডিসিটা ভালো করে সুন্দর করে আসিয়ান লেভেলে করতে লাগে স্যার।
করেন আমি আছি।
ইন্টারন্যাশনাল কনভেনশন অফ ভাইস চ্যান্সেলর্স
আমি আছি আপনাদের সাথে।
Under your initiative that must be continued, but hopefully if vaccine comes immediately and everything is normal, then we must organize it again. If not here, at least in Dhaka, and inviting all the ASEAN countries. I think it will be a very big boost for the all neighboring countries towards educational movement. And as you have given the leadership in the very beginning, the visionary people, they never retire. So don't consider, we don't consider that you are a retired UGC chairman from Bangladesh.
That was just for a period. That was just
yes. If necessary, we will write to Prime Minister of Bangladesh that we have seen practically that Professor Manan sir is not retiring till date because he is delivering more lectures even this pandemic. So they must consider Manan sir's role in the development of education arena in Bangladesh.
Thank you.
So thank you very much, sir.
Thank
Stay
you.
safe, stay happy, and always you will be looking nice. And this time also I am seeing a very nice. Always you take care, you send message after every 1 week, how you are, what is happening there at USTM. So although you are far from India and from our university, but always consider you are the next man who is taking care of us. Thank you very much, sir. God
Thank
bless.
you. Thank you, Mr. Mabul Haq. Thank you, Majabin. Thank you, all panelists.
Thank you.
It was my pleasure. It was a good session. Thank you.
Thank you. Good day, sir.